Okay, so today we are continuing 8.2 quadratic functions in vertex form. An equation is said to be in vertex form if it is f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k, where a, h, and k are transformations. So we want to go ahead and plot this. Yesterday we were talking about the different transformations. Today we're going to use this to graph. So my steps are to plot the vertex and my axis of symmetry, evaluate the functions to find two other points, reflect my points across the axis of symmetry, and draw a parabola through the points. So, A wants me to graph f of x equals negative 2 times x plus 1 squared plus 5. So, my first step is to find my vertex. Remember, that is opposite the sign with the x. This is going to be negative 1, and then my number at the end, which is 5. So I'm going to go over to negative 1 and 5 and plot my point. Then I want to do my axis of symmetry, which is always my x value of my vertex. Next, I want to evaluate the function to find two other points. So I'm going to plug in, I'm going to go to the right, since I like plugging in 0. That makes things a bit easier. I have f of 0 equals negative 2 times 0 plus 1 squared plus 5. I can go ahead and type this all into my calculator. So I am typing in just the right side of my equation. So I have negative 2 times 0 plus 1 squared plus 5 gets me 3. So this point that I want to graph is going to be 0, 3. Right here. And then I'm going to do, my next point to the right is going to be positive 1. So I'm going to do negative 2 times 1 plus 1 squared plus 5. So negative 2 times 1 plus 1 squared plus 5. This gets me negative 3. So the point is 1, negative 3. I want to plot that. Step 3 is to reflect across the axis of symmetry. So just this one was 1 away, and then this one was 2 away. And step 4 is to draw a parabola through my points. And then in the square, I just want to write vertex form so I have it again. So this is f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So the next problem is a U-try. Your graph should be opening upwards. So you can go ahead and graph that. If it's opening upwards, you probably are doing it right. On the back side, I have Deshawn and Chris are playing soccer. Chris takes a shot on a goal. Deshawn is 3 feet in front of the goal and can reach the top of the 8-foot goal when standing directly beneath it. Can he block the shot from his current position without moving or jumping? So I'm going to rewrite my formula over here, just so I have it. I have f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Then I want to start off by formulating this. So we can describe the parabolic path of the soccer player using a quadratic function. The vertex of the parabola is given, so we can write the function in vertex form. So if I take a look at this, it tells me my vertex over here it's kind of a little light, so I'm going to rewrite it. This is 16, 11. And then my random point is 1.2. So I'm going to first start off by replacing my h and k with my vertex. Remember, it goes alphabetical, so it's going to be hk. So I'm going to have f of x. I still have a there. And then instead of h, I'm going to write the 16. And then instead of k, I'm going to write the 11. So my next step is to compute. I'm going to use another point on the path of the ball to find the value of a. So the point 1.2 represents the point where Chris's foot makes contact with the ball. So this is going to be my x. And then my second point is f of x. Remember, f of x is the same thing as y. So I'm going to replace those two in my formula up above. So I have 1.2 instead of f of x. A is what I'm solving for, so it's still going to stay a. Then I have 1.2, oops, I don't want to close up my parentheses. And I have minus 16 squared plus 11. So I am going to take care of the stuff inside. Oops, that shouldn't be 1.2, that should be 2, because that's my x I'm plugging in. So I am going to take care of the stuff inside the parentheses first. 2 minus 16 is negative 14. Then if I go ahead and square negative 14, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to do it on my calculator. I'm going to make sure that when I type it in my calculator, I type it in parentheses, because otherwise the calculator is not going to treat the negative right. So this gives me 196. When I get my number, I want to write it in front of my a. We always write numbers before variables. Then I want to go ahead and, oh, this is plus 11. I want to go ahead and subtract 11 off of both sides. So 1.2, that's on this one. Oops, 1.2 minus 11 gets me negative 9.8 equals 196a. So then I want to go ahead and divide both sides by 196. I'm going to put it over here. 9.8 divided by, negative 9.8 divided by 196 gives me negative 0.05. Okay, so now that I've found my a value, I want to go ahead and plug it into the function. I still have x as x. My h was 16, and my k was 11. Then my final step is to substitute x equals 22 into the function. So everywhere I see an x, I want to replace with a 22. So this first part on the left is going to stay the same because that's telling me what I plugged in. And then I can type everything I've written here directly into the calculator. So I have negative 0.05 parentheses 22 minus 16 squared plus 11. So this gets me 9.2. So now I just need to go ahead and interpret what this means. So when the ball reaches Deshaun, it will be about 9.2 feet above the ground, which is above his 8-foot reach. Deshaun cannot block Chris's shot from his current position without jumping or moving. So in order to reach higher, he's going to have to jump.